In the mountains of Pennsylvania, there was a coal mine and a railroad to transport that coal. The only problem was that the railroad started operation in the 1820s before steam locomotives were widespread, which resulted in the use of other means for power and an interesting situation for some mules. The Mauch Chunk Switchback Railway was a railroad in the mountains of eastern Pennsylvania which transported coal from the mine at the summit to the canal below. As the railroad started operation in 1827, initially, steam locomotives were not used as they were not available. The railroad instead used mules to pull coal wagons up a winding and gradual sloped railway up to the summit of the mountain. There, the cars would be loaded with coal and sent down a quick and steep track to the mountain below. The mules would take 4 to 5 hours to haul the empty coal wagons up to the top of the mountain, where the wagons would then be loaded. The loaded wagons would then be sent down in groups of 6 to 8 under the control of a brakeman, and once the typical batch of 40 cars went down the mountain, something rather strange happened. The mules were loaded into modified coal wagons, or mule cars, and sent down the slope as well. The mules were put on what can only be described as one of the first roller coasters in the country, and while not as thrilling as roller coasters today, it definitely was a shock for the mules each time they went down the slope. But local residents and workers saw the mules and coal cars flying down the hill. They thought that they wanted to have a ride as well, so many people would sneak on after hours to try and enjoy a thrilling ride. This became so popular that when the line was not as busy, the railroad would charge people to take a ride down the hill. But into the mid-1800s, the mules were no longer needed, as steam power and more modern inclined railways replaced them. But people still enjoyed the thrilling ride, so this section was kept open, and some additional scenic inclined railways were also added to the mountain, transforming it into a mini tourist destination as well as a coal mine. The railroad kept operating until 1932, when the Great Depression forced it to close down. What may seem at first like an average coal railway in the mountains of Pennsylvania became the inspiration for modern roller coasters and an interesting experience for some mules. Be sure to subscribe for more.